Live Marco Podcast audio commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign, Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 3.
Hell on Earth.
All right, here we are, the dreaded episode where we do the commentary track for Hellraiser Revelations, directed by Victor Garcia. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, so let's sync it up to right after the Dimension logo. 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, here we go. Again.
Yeah. This is like the fourth time I've seen this stupid movie now.
Wow.
You poor man. But you had to buy you had to buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Okay, Neo Art and Logic. That's still the same company that made Hellraiser 7 and 8 special.
Oh,
effects,
really?
I think so.
They've been involved with the Hellraiser series since I think 4.
Is that just a name for Gary Tunnicliffe's company?
I don't think so. His company is 2 Hours in the Dark.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Bye, LA!
Oh, God. This might be, I don't know. The whole movie's bad, but this is, this opening really sets the tone for what this crappy movie is going to be like.
Yeah.
It's like the Blair Witch of Hellraiser movies.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, this is something we were sort of starting to talk about a little before we were recording, but the thing that I hate about this is that when they switch away from the video camera and they're like doing their regular filming, it's almost exactly the same.
Oh, I know. You talking about the scene coming up with the? We'll talk about it. I know exactly.
They do shaky single camera filming when you can see the two of them in the shot.
Yeah.
So it's like obviously they're not recording.
It's funny because I was reading an interview before we did this with the director of the movie, Victor Garcia, and he revealed in the interview that they shot this movie over 12 days with a single camera. Wow. That's quite a feat. Oh. And it was a Gary Tunnicliffe script, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and it evolved from a remake script, right? I mean, I think he originally wrote it as a remake script and then sort of changed it.
Yeah, it's kind of hazy because of the way that scripts are made. The director said that he seemed that it was the first time he had seen a Hellraiser script that was actually done as a Hellraiser movie. So I don't know if that's true or not, but, that's what I'm going
Well,
with.
Yeah, I mean, and people use that as a reason why this is better than Hellraiser 8.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's good enough reason. That's not good enough.
I have to admit I've been on that kind of bandwagon myself. You're right, but after watching it again, I think I'm going to go off that bandwagon because like I said, I'd only watched it once.
Yeah.
I think this is probably definitely the worst of the series. Inferno even has some redeeming qualities,
Well, actually, speaking of redeeming qualities, this effect with the blue light coming out of the box, I kind of like.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only. They could only do that kind of CG. I guess that's the only computer-generated effect they could afford. Because the budget for this was only like 3 figures.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then when Pinhead shows up, it's the worst.
That's what I was like.
And they don't even show the walls opening up. He just kind of like, "Hey, I'm here."
They show his reaction.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
It was when Pinhead started to speak, I was like, "Oh boy, we're in trouble."
Yeah. Yeah.
You are the light in the darkness and paths to higher sensation. Guardians of ultimate experience. That's what he's saying right now.
You open the box, summoned us.
I got to say, they don't waste any time in this movie. At 3-minute mark, you're already seeing Pinhead, or someone already opened the box. Yeah. They're in Mexico. Who cares what adventures they got into in Mexico? What matters is to show them opening the box.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
it turns out it was the mom
Yeah,
watching.
mother looks a lot like older sister.
I saw that comment you made. Yeah, it's
Casting
true. I
was-
think the actual father of I think it's Noah's character looks like it could be his. You know, they look the same age.
Yeah.
You'll notice that later. I think
Yeah.
a nice blue filter there to make it look like it's nighttime.
That's a staple of low-budget films. Let's just shoot it during the day and just tint it blue to seem like it's the night.
Why do we still have shadows?
Yeah. So there we are. Someone got a house in the middle of a canyon and just shot this.
Yeah, and it's so hokey this idea that they're completely isolated and they have they have no cell service.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, you can see houses out their window.
Yeah,
you can see like city lights and stuff. They're just up on a hill.
Let's make sure we show the mom like staring at the food and just being overall depressed to show that she's sad.
Everybody
she doesn't say anything.
Sort of.
Why are they celebrating? Where are they getting together? Aren't their kids missing at this point?
There's no setup. It's just we're all thrown into this like.
It seems like they're trying to say that this was something that they always did.
I think it's funny the guy asks because she's like, "You want more wine?" But she never even took a sip of it before. You know?
There's a deleted scene here where he keeps on drinking more wine. And what is it?
Yeah, and like Emma just became the voice of reason. Like, why are we sitting here having good food? Nobody wants to talk about Steven and Niko. Yeah, it's like, aren't they missing?
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. He says in the deleted scene, he says, "Oh, I need to see Dr. Scotch," and he gets more drinks or whatever, and he says,
"Oh, that's really bad."
He says, "Talk about the night of the paper hats."
Oh, they really use that line?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's actually like 3 or 4 deleted scenes that have Hellraiser, lines or Hellraiser, which is kind of like you can see where they're, it evolved from a.
Oh, and here's that thing that you mentioned during our other episodes about Hellraiser, where the Cenobites are inside the box and they're shown as listening to what these people are saying.
Yeah,
I know.
Like they're a genie in there.
Yeah, it kind of became like a genie in the box kind of idea.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Yeah. I want to see somebody shake the box and they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, no, they're all.
So, just a quick mention here. I know we're supposed to stick to what's on the screen, but I just want to say, Shock Till You Drop once made an interview with Doug Bradley about his legacy as the Pinhead actor, and the last question was, "I just got to ask your feelings about Hellraiser Revelations." And so Doug Bradley said, "The trailer backed up my feelings about the screenplay. It convinced me that this was a movie that I didn't want to be involved in. The trailer kind of made me think, yeah, okay, that's pretty much what I thought it would be. It just seemed to me to be a very confused screenplay. I wasn't making great sense when I was reading it, and that's always a flag to you as an actor. If you're not engaged when you're reading the screenplay, then I'll get to see it one day, and then I'll report back to you." And so, that's what Doug.
Yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it probably. I don't know.
Gary Tunnicliffe goes on record saying, like, the script, they cut out so much of my material, but, forgot, this guy loves his setup.
Yeah.
This little setup he has here.
Like we're supposed to believe this is a bar.
Yeah.
Even in Mexico, I mean, come on.
It's a crappy bar.
Yeah, it looks like a warehouse that they put a bunch of chairs in.
Right. You hablo so English.
Wow.
Oh.
That one actor is holding the camera.
Every woman in Mexico or in Tijuana is a prostitute.
Hope nobody quotes that out of context.
Yeah, I know. The guy Noah, I've seen it. He was in a movie.
They think she was a prostitute. I don't know.
Also, they're going to a bar, but they're still dressed in pretty much the same clothes they were driving in, like the last scene, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, 12 days, single camera. That's how they did it.
Yeah, and she's dressed all fancy.
Uh-huh. You're coming in a little muffled, but I guess that the microphone will get better as we go along.
Is this what you were talking about, Ron? How they're filming and then going back between
Yeah.
Yeah,
So sometimes you see everybody in the shot, and sometimes it's the video camera, but the shooting looks the same. It looks like they're using the same equipment.
Yeah.
Really just poor...
The acting is really bad in this movie.
And so the girlfriend of Niko is watching through the camera, so she's getting shocked that he cheated on her in Mexico.
I think the Steven actor is the worst part of this movie.
Yeah, he is. Especially at the end when he starts.
Especially when he's
going crazy.
Yeah, when he comes back to the house.
And also, this all comes out of nowhere. I mean, he's just talking to her in one scene, and then the next he's doing her in the bathroom stall, and it's like...
Yeah, because there was a camera cut between...
Yeah, still. And then something happens that we're never set up for. Like, why would this happen? Just the last scene in the camera, everything was... Who's recording now, by the way?
Yeah.
Who's recording this in the camera? Is Niko recording himself? His arms are both down.
Yeah,
They're in the bathroom. Yeah. It's like, are we supposed to be like changing into a different kind of narrator that also has a camera? It's kind of hard to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
If you're going to make it a found footage, then make it a found footage.
Make it found footage. Don't
or make a really clear distinction between the videotape footage and then going back to the omniscient narrator or whatever.
Right. Because, I mean...
That's just basic, like, anybody who's seen movies knows that. I don't know. This is just...
Oh, and what happened there? I mean, he just finished, having sex with her, and then he just slammed her head against the toilet 20 times? Yeah. What happened?
They never explains that.
Never explained. I mean, there's sort of hints that he did it on purpose, and he says that he blacked out and he doesn't remember.
Right. She hit her head or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's all yell in the public bathroom about it for a while.
Yeah, I know.
It's just these elements are falling into the story, but they're not being set up. It's just like, okay, well, something's going to happen, then they're going to have to deal with it. And then something else is going to happen out of nowhere, and they're going to have to deal with it. But that's not, how it's supposed to be. You should at least try to set up something or show us in a flashback or some expository scene what happened. So we're not just completely lost in the movie.
Either.
Oh, you're coming in way too muffled.
Oh, man.
All right. Yeah, like the camera's right there.
Is the kid Niko supposed to be like kind of a Frank type character or something?
Yeah, and Stephen and Julia.
Yeah. Stephen and... What'd you say?
And Stephen and Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And she's still watching this. Oh, wait, no, she's not watching it anymore. No, she's just going through the luggage. Oh, there's the box. Yeah. Okay, someone explain to me, how did their luggage end up coming here to their parents' house?
Well, they do say later on that they hired a detective.
Yeah.
And I think he came back with the box and the video recorder.
Ah, I gotcha.
The box looks like crap in this movie.
He's like, oh, somebody's holding the box. Don't shake it, lady.
If this box is rocking, don't come a-knocking. Oh, boy. Okay, so they think that they were killed in Mexico by some gang or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Niko's parents look like they're the same age as Niko.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, a 25-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Here's another interview with Victor Garcia, the director, where they ask him, do you know why Doug didn't come back? And here's a very interesting answer. I have no idea. It was really fast. We had to work on our special effects. We had to go really fast. We had very few days to complete production. I just delivered my cut, so I'm waiting for them to get back to us with some notes, and hopefully everything's going to be done in the next month or so. So I was really under a lot of pressure. I just learned that he was not going to do that. He was in the UK. Everything had to be done in such a short period of time that probably he just couldn't even do it physically. I was like, okay, we're shooting this movie in 2 weeks. Are you in? It's like, whoa. And he says, I said, yes, of course I'm in because it's a Hellraiser movie. And he was also talking about, you guys remember the first image that came out of Pinhead in Revelations was this photoshopped image where he was standing in front of a wall and there were shafts of light coming in and everything's like in a blue tone.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. And he said that those photos, he was not happy about those photos being leaked online. He says those pictures were never approved by anybody. They just leaked online, and that's not a good thing, especially because Pinhead is something you want to treat with a lot of respect.
Well, I don't know why he's so mad, because it pretty much revealed the problem with the character. I mean, it wouldn't have made the difference.
He said it was pictures someone used some Photoshop on. Yeah. He said that the pictures were that the problem was that somebody decided it would be cool to Photoshop them and send them to the press, and they spread like a disease because obviously it's not a regular sequel, it's Hellraiser. And then, those pictures were real, but the Photoshop work on them wasn't good. And then he says, I can tell you that Pinhead looks really cool. Well, I argue about that, but okay.
Yeah. He does. Yeah. He doesn't look cool. And you have to wonder, how bad must that actor have sounded that they had to get that other guy to do the voice, which was terrible.
Yeah, I know the actual guy sucked, and then the voiceover sucked.
And here's another moment in the movie that I complain about, which is, again, something happens out of nowhere, and we have to deal with it. As an audience, audience member, I'm completely lost in this movie. Like, things just happen out of nowhere.
He just walked over here from Mexico.
Yeah. Well, if this is L.A., that might be possible.
Oh, no. It's too bad they don't have cell phones in 2011.
You're coming in a little muffled again.
They never do have there's never one. Is there a cell phone in this movie at all?
I thought that they had mentioned that there was no service here, but I can't say that for sure.
Well, oh, wow. Okay. In the part where I'm watching, they're just actually giving that expository dialogue saying, oh, landline doesn't have a signal. Does your phone have a signal? No.
Oh.
That's what you get for living in the middle of nowhere.
I guess I have mine turned down too low. Am I too muffled that you're not hearing me?
You're better now that you asked that, yeah.
He is the worst.
Yeah, man.
Just put him in a car.
And he just keeps outdoing himself. I mean, he keeps getting worse.
all the adult performances are passable.
Especially when he's eating that, the chicken soup scene.
Oh,
that's the worst, man.
Or standing around by the pool.
Yeah.
He's having a seizure. What's wrong with him? They're just generating a lot of medical babble now. It's like, get me some blankets. We got to get some fluids into him. It's like, okay. Hey, why don't you just put him in a car and take him to the hospital?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
the cars are...
all of their cars were out front. They don't have a garage or anything.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I totally missed that.
And their cars all got stolen by Steven.
Yeah. Again, another thing where we never saw anything like this happen in a Hellraiser movie, like cars disappearing or landlines not working.
Yeah.
It's just very convenient for the plot that this happens now.
Yeah.
That Cenobites or puzzle guardians can steal cars now to prevent people from going in.
Yeah, they're reading the script and like, well, wait a minute, couldn't they just get in their car and take him to the hospital? Okay, well, we'll figure out something for that. Their cars got stolen.
Yeah, a lot of old-time horror movies would be very different if they happened today. Like in Halloween, if Halloween happened today, I mean, of course, Jodie Foster would just get her cell phone and call someone.
Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
The old one.
They would never get lost because they would have a GPS in their van.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is 2011.
It's not too far. Not too far. Okay, so
I'm the guy's best acting, sleeping. Not saying a word, just sleeping.
Again, the torture pillar is inside the box. That box has a lot of space inside. Maybe they should list it on listed on Remax. It'd be like, hey, very spacious place, fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Come live inside this box. And here comes Mini Pinhead.
What's he called in the credits?
In the credits, they call him Pseudo Pinhead, and I think fans call him Pinhead Jr.
Yeah, Pinhead Jr.
And
now,
by
what's up with
fans,
I never understood this, when he's getting, like, pieces of skin. Is it like he's...
Yeah, they're nailing
that?
the skin back onto his face.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But he just pokes him in with his fingers. He doesn't use, like, a hammer or anything.
Oh, look, another stupid thing. Oh, all the windows and doors are locked now. It's like you're on the inside of the house. It's like, and the doors are made of glass.
I know.
Just break a window. No, they're trapped because, oh no, we can't go through this glass door.
God, it's just.
Yeah.
It's like the monkey that set a trap and grabs the banana and then can't get his hand out and just stays there.
The raccoons do that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they have a trap that with something that's bigger than the hole, and so they put their hand. They won't get their hand out.
Huh.
I thought they were smarter than that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they're trying to go for the drama part. It's like, okay, let's throw some family drama into this. Let's throw some
drama died after the Dimension credits.
Yeah. There's another deleted scene that's just like this, but between the two adult women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Steven's mother starts crying, and she's like, "Don't you dare cry! You can't cry! Your son came back to you."
Oh God. I was acting in that scene.
Earth is pain. I'm just looking at Pinhead. What really gets me in this new Pinhead is the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
I know.
They're so
shoulder
big.
pads are bad.
They're really big. This is kind of like a throwback to Hellraiser 2, I guess, when Pinhead is shown being turned from Elliot Spencer into Pinhead, and we see those tentacles from Leviathan sticking the needles in his head and stuff.
Yeah, that outfit looks terrible.
It's the way it's lit.
Yeah.
Too.
Why is his face green now? And who's he looking at?
I don't know. Just keep picturing Pinhead and just falling around.
Yeah.
So I can't. Y'all got that in my head now.
It's like they never showed anybody what was in the bag. Only the mom would go there in the room and look inside the bag. Nobody else could do it. Like it took Emma all this time to be able to go into the room and open up the bag and check out what was in there.
Yeah, you'd think she would have done that first thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if I was like Steve or whatever's dad, I mean, I would be like, hey, so the detective brought a bag. What's in the bag? Let's see it.
Has the box ever turned diagonal like that before?
I've never seen it in the movies before.
That doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I've seen it in Hellraiser 2. You remember, or in the first one, you remember when Kirsty, there's only the engineer left, and the box kind of turns, a corner of it turns like a triangle.
Oh, I'll have to go back and look at it.
But this time it was in half.
Right.
Yeah.
See, this is the chatter female looks terrible.
Yeah.
She's got normal looking arms.
And there's skinned prostitutes kissing each other, because I guess...
And those look exactly like from Gary T. Tunnicliffe's, or Gary J. Tunnicliffe's, from that short trailer he did for the Judgment he won. It looks like the jury.
No More Souls?
Yeah, I bet there's going to be some reused stuff from this movie.
Are you talking about No More Souls?
No, he's talking about the new Hellraiser Judgment.
That Judgment trailer that he made for that Kickstarter thing.
Right. He probably has the molds, so he just...
Yeah, probably just used them.
Makes a new appliance every once in a while for this.
And there's a little subplot where he has a gun and the wife didn't know it and she's mad about it.
A lot of good paintings in this house.
He's standing in front of the pool now. Are you guys there?
So there's a deleted scene where they're looking... This is hilarious. There's a deleted scene where they're like, "Where's Steven? I don't know." And they go down the father goes down the hallway looking in every hall closet looking for Steven.
Oh wow, with the closet.
And then the daughter like yells at him.
Just like a cartoon.
Or she sneaks up on him and then he gets scared.
I'm surprised that they weren't looking like under the carpet or something.
In the toilet.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Some people like this story. Some people,
Yeah.
and more power to them. God bless them. But
Yeah, God bless.
But it's like they say that, hey, it's not a bad story. They go into Mexico. It's a different setting, and they open the box, and Pinhead shows up, and things are supposed to happen. But I don't know, man. It's like
Maybe with a bigger budget, it would have worked, but
yeah,
that didn't happen.
Recorded in 12 days with a single camera. Asking Doug Bradley if he wanted to be in this movie like 2 weeks before they started or whatever. Or no, they asked the director. Actually, they asked the director 2 weeks before production started if he wanted to do the movie. So he had 2 weeks to prepare for production. Yeah. That's insane. Usually to prepare a movie, they need 4 to 6 months or something. I don't know. Something like that. But in this case, okay, do you want to direct this movie in 2 weeks? And then you're going to shoot for 12 days? And it's probably going to come out in one cinema just for contractual sake. This movie, I listened to the Hellraiser podcast episode where they were talking about this movie, and they have a point. The thing that they criticize more about this movie is that it doesn't have a heart. It doesn't have a soul.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, sorry people who like Hellraiser Revelations, but this movie it's a bit of a...
empty.
It's just a contractual thing. It's just a marketing blip.
Well, I mean, if you say a movie doesn't have a soul, maybe does that just mean it doesn't have any characters that you can identify with or that you care about?
I mean, what's the story really about? It's not really about much.
Yeah.
And the way they do it, it's not particularly interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Like even this vagrant, he doesn't look like a vagrant at all. It just looks like a guy wearing a fake wig.
He talks too much also.
Yeah.
It just feels like a piece of business, or like you said, to keep the franchise.
Yeah. It makes me want to see the Fantastic Four movie that was made, for the same reason. The Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Oh yeah, that's actually good. That's actually fun.
Oh really?
In a good way though. It's bad, but it's fun.
Yeah.
This is depressing. It's Hellraiser, man. You don't want to see Hellraiser represented like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rob, you were talking how Niko looks like Frank in terms of his desires and stuff. And this scene where he's buying the box and he says, "Oh yeah, it's going to be better than sex," and Niko is super interested in it because I guess he's kind of like the Frank Cotton of this movie. He wants to go beyond the limits.
He doesn't care that he killed a prostitute.
Both these kids are too pretty for me. I mean, to believe that they're into that kind of stuff. Like he just doesn't look like a.
They don't sell it very well.
Where you see Frank, you're like, man, Frank, that guy. When I first saw Frank, you see those nails underneath. Clive Barker does that shot of him, pushing the money over the guy, and you see it under his fingernails are all dirty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, man, this guy doesn't really care about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone through some stuff. He's lived rough and been to jail and stuff. This guy just looks like a pampered, spoiled,
rich boy.
Rich boy. Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to say is again this vagrant guy. He seems like another element that falls out of nowhere, doesn't fit the scene. They're in a Mexican bar, and you can see like women in dresses at the cocktail bar and stuff. But then there's this vagrant in the middle of this club. I mean, what's he doing? He's got dirt all over his face.
Yeah,
he would get kicked out.
Yeah. I mean, Mexico is not like they show it in this movie. Come on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure also that this might be the same club where they shot the scene where the prostitute dies. I'm not even sure if she was a prostitute, but the girl that Niko kind of picks up.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I mean, I think narratively it's supposed to be a different club, but it's obviously the same place.
Yeah, they probably just used another corner of it to shoot the scene.
When I first saw that they had the vagrant return for this one, I thought maybe they'd have him turn into a creature or something.
Nope.
Yeah.
But he gets shot and he doesn't die.
Yeah, that's it.
That would have cost too much money to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call those in the Hellraiser, the new Hellraiser comics? They give those.
Yeah, there's a name. I was just thinking of that story you're talking about.
Erebon or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
There's a story.
The skeletal dragons in the new Hellraiser comic. They have a name for those.
Oh,
Can't remember.
okay.
With the horns coming out of their eyes.
I forgot. It's been a while since I've read the comics.
Yeah.
The box looks like it was just a wooden box, and they glued on some.
Yeah.
Glued on
overlays.
Just, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
so at this point they gave up the whole found footage thing because now this is not even. Nobody's watching a camera. The camera didn't record this, so now they just really threw that out.
Is this supposed to be a flashback from Niko? I guess.
I'm sorry, you kind of like. You cut out there.
I think this is maybe just supposed to be a flashback from Niko.
Oh, sure, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's talking at the pool really right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that's it. And what's the deal with that? It was like, you're bad at puzzles. Like, who talks about? I don't know. It just.
What if something whack happens? I just saw that line.
Oh God. Whack.
It's really important to record this because something whack might happen.
Okay, I think I'm running a little fast. He's already opening the box, so I'm just going to pause mine for a bit. There we go.
Yeah, he's starting to open it.
Also, it's
now
annoying to me to think that Niko will be able to open the box.
And to buy into his this character going into some kind of change or physical change, I really wish he would have done something to his hair because it's always spiked up like it's been, it looks too stylish. I mean, he could have just needed to look a little dirtied up a little bit,
Those are those same little votive candles that they use on the dining room table or the coffee table in the house.
Sure.
Later on to set up the opening the box.
Yeah.
And nobody ever tells them, hey, you got to put candles all around yourself. They just do it. Instinctively, they know that they're supposed to put candles all around them.
This may be the most awful Mexican hotel room I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like an abandoned.
It's got a blanket hanging on the wall, and everything's dirty and dingy. It's since when do Americans go to Mexico to be in dingy motels? I mean, you go there, you go to places the Yucatan Peninsula or whatever, go to a resort.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rich. They can afford that.
Well, and Tijuana is right by the California border, so most people that go there don't even spend the night. They just, go down there and then come back up to...
Sure. Unless they're going to drink and stuff, so they'll
Yeah.
There.
At least we only have 30 minutes left.
That's another thing. This movie is at its core, without the credits and stuff, it's probably maybe, 70 minutes?
70 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the total is 75, yeah.
Yeah, and also this scene where he's just walking with one sleeve out of his...
Yeah, why?
It's supposed to make him look tough.
I think it's supposed to make him look lost or whatever. I don't know. What a dump.
It looks like probably the same dump where they were just opening the box.
And is she an Asian actress?
Go ahead.
Is she an Asian actress trying to pass as a Mexican? It's kind of weird.
Just like a Zorro mask back there. Can you notice it on the wall?
No.
This looks like something that a bum would live in because there's junk on the night dresser and stuff like that. I mean, this doesn't look like a motel room.
And the windows are painted.
The ball cap on the wall too.
The window is painted.
Boob shot.
This is the same room I think they use for every room they use.
Yeah.
In the Mexico scenes. This feels so. I didn't like this particular stuff. I mean, it just felt so thrown in and
also really poorly performed.
Yeah. That's what I really want to say about the scene. It's just poorly performed and it just feels awkward.
Oh, and then the box starts talking to him.
Yeah, kill her. I need blood. So at this point, Niko disappeared. Pinhead took Niko, right?
Yeah, and he's crammed into the box with all the Cenobites, apparently.
Yeah.
And just because the box says to kill her, why would he just say okay?
Because he seemed like a decent person. I mean, his character at least. I mean, but then
he's completely irredeemable.
Yeah,
right here.
This is the shadiest hotel or motel ever. Oh, there we go. And of course, because Hellraiser 2 had that, they have to do the same here. Like, he died on that mattress, so blood brought him back.
Yeah, but he didn't die on that mattress.
I know.
I think he was just taken by Pinhead, right?
Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, he didn't die in this prostitute's house.
The blood brought me back. I
don't even know whose house that is.
I think it's the prostitute's house. Because she says, "Do you want to come home with me?"
No, that's the hotel room where he was with Niko, where they opened the box, right?
I think physically, I mean, realistically, yes, but I don't think it's supposed to be.
Okay, that's
she says, "Let's go back to my house."
For every room.
Yeah.
Boink. There we go.
Oh,
I know, man. It's just.
I really wish they had put that scene back in where they're looking for him all over in all the hall closets.
Oh, really?
Just at least that would be funny.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about all those trophies back there. I mean, it looks like he's a sportsman, like an athlete in college or something, but he doesn't seem to be that type at all. He just seems to be the shy introvert, like very sensitive kind of guy who's like, oh, he always looks sad.
Actually, they look up Cenobite in this movie. I thought that was kind of like, it was weird.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
We've all done that, I guess.
We all did that after the first Hellraiser movie.
Yeah.
Just be surprised that she actually went to pick a book and didn't just went to Wikipedia on her phone.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point.
Yeah, who has a dictionary anymore?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, the makeup is okay. The makeup is good. Don't look at the camera, kid.
Yeah, and he says pain and pleasure indivisible. It's like, I don't think there's pleasure there. I think that's just pain.
I have to say, probably this room. I was going to say this room is probably. It doesn't fit his character because it's probably just the room of a person who lives in this. Probably the actual person that lives in this room.
Probably, sure, in real life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in real life. Yeah. They didn't have time to come up with like a. This is probably somebody's house they used.
True.
That was probably a crew member or something like that.
Yeah. They probably. Whoever it is loves soccer because I see 4 soccer balls on the wall.
God, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sure, Steven could be a soccer player. Why not? Just leave it. We don't have time to hide all this stuff and then put it back again. He's got a Band-Aid on his hand.
There's actually a photo of a girl back there. It might be a girl's room.
Oh, man.
Looking at.
Oh, yeah, who is that?
Hey, if he's a good soccer player, if Pinhead just so much as touched him, he would just throw himself on the floor like, oh! He hit me right in the face. Sorry, soccer fans. It's good to be. He just clicked his heels 3 times and said, "There's no place like home," and that's how they got. Even Victor Garcia in his interview didn't want to talk about pseudo Pinhead. They were asking him in the Bloody Disgusting article, do you want to talk about pseudo Pinhead? And he says, no, I prefer not to talk. I know that Gary has already been talking a little bit about the plot. I can't talk a lot about the plot. I've been asked from the studio not to give a lot of details. And, he goes on.
Well, and then after the movie's out, nobody cared anymore to make interviews.
I wonder how Victor. I've not kept up with Victor Garcia's career after he actually did the Return to House on Haunted Hill, which was a sequel to the remake of the House on Haunted Hill. It actually was pretty decent.
That's great, because the last question in this interview says, we're just wondering if there's anything original that you're working on since you're becoming known for directing sequels to already established franchises. And his reply is, I'm working on sequels to remakes. Laughs.
Oh, God.
Okay. If it works for him, I mean.
So there's a little subplot in the deleted scenes here where she says, "You went all the way to Mexico," to Steven, "you went all the way to Mexico, but you didn't get me anything." He goes, "I did get you something, that box." And then she comes down and they're all sitting around the table talking about stuff, and she says, "Give me that, that's mine." And they're like, "No, really? What do you mean it's yours? Steven gave it to me. That puzzle box is mine." And they're like, "We don't even know what this is yet."
Right, good point.
And it happens right after the soup scene.
Yeah, the infamous chicken soup scene.
Yeah, this is way painful to watch. I mean,
I wonder what's happened to Stephen Smith Collins, the guy who played Pinhead in this movie. I haven't really followed up on this.
He hasn't done any more movies after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see if he's thin-skinned. I mean, he's probably gets a lot of hate from Hellraiser fans, but. And I think a lot of people unfairly blame him for this terrible movie, but it's a combination of a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Some of which is the story.
I've never seen a movie that tries to create eroticism around chicken soup. I will give it that.
Between a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks, for all she knows, that's her brother.
Right.
So I think what they're trying to say is she's attracted to him because he's really her boyfriend, but they don't sell it. I mean, it doesn't work.
It seems like there's a blurred line here going on, because he's talking to her like, "I missed you so much," but I think she's not getting the point that what he's trying to say is missed her in a different way.
Yeah.
And then there's a kiss, and it's really awkward. I wonder if this actress has done anything else.
Yeah, they actually none of their careers were really affected by this film. I don't think a lot of people saw it, so
yeah,
I don't know. Well, she's actually gone on to do some stuff.
Yeah.
She played she was in that last film James Gandolfini did. His last film.
Okay.
Don't remember the name of it, but I saw that.
She's been doing a lot of stuff. She's been in a TV series called First Day from 2010 to 2011. Then she's done Eden, Zephyr Springs, Enough Said, Financial Work, Kingmakers, Hologram for the King.
Yeah, this is probably just a job.
So she's been working every single year. Movies in 2013, 2 movies in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she's been getting better roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff makes you want to drill a hole in your head.
Yeah, I know. Makes you want to cut yourself with a razor, like what's his name from Hellbound.
Oh God, no!
Get them off me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we could be watching a good movie right now instead of this.
We will. Next one, I think, right?
Yeah. We're this is our last
one. That's bad.
Moving on to the regular adaptations and Clive Barker's actual movies.
Mm-hmm. Like, what sister would just sit there and just let her brother talk like this? She'd be like, "What the hell are you on?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even though there are weird people out there.
True. So on IMDb, this movie has 2.8 out of 10 rating.
That seems high.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that's a little wild. It'd be lower than that. That seems high.
Yeah. And it came out in October of 2011. I guess this spoiled Halloween for a lot of people.
I mean, I guess it's technically finished, right? They didn't just stop it in the middle.
That's true.
It has a beginning and a middle and an end.
blip. All of a sudden, for some reason, they just...
Yeah, why is she having that?
I don't understand that flashback. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
It's like it's showing her what could be in her future, I think.
Yeah.
And Pinhead is just pacing around like, all right.
Yeah. Don't shake my box.
Oh, you think? There's something just not right about it. Understatement of the whole movie.
Yeah. So this is where the deleted scene is, where she comes down and says, "That's mine. He gave it to me."
Something's not right.
Oh, did we pass it already? There was a scene where he said those kids had the whole world on a string.
I don't even know what that means.
He had the whole fucking world on a string. That was the line. It's like, really, on a string? Why is something better when it's on a string?
I don't even know what that
one.
means.
I think I missed that one.
I'm not a first language speaker when it comes to English, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Even me and
I've heard about a soap on a rope.
Soap on a rope.
Yes, soap on a rope.
So this seems like it was put in here just to pad out the time a little bit, them walking around the property.
Mm-hmm. And so one of the guys has a gun, right?
Yeah.
Why did they come out again? Did they hear something?
No, they decided that they wanted to just go check out the outside because they think that maybe it was just Steven that stole the car all along.
Yeah, which makes zero sense again.
Yeah. Yeah, so where did he put... I mean, if he took it, he couldn't have taken it very far because he had to walk back.
Oh, this director, Victor Garcia, also tried to get Clive to see the movie. And Shock Jelly Drop asked him, Clive Barker made great efforts to publicly disown the film via Twitter. Have you ever talked with him since? And it's like, we all know that Clive Barker did go on Twitter saying, anybody who says that this new movie is from the mind of Clive Barker is lying. It's not even from my butthole.
Yeah.
So that was pretty harsh words. He says, I tried to reach Clive during prep as I wanted to have him somehow involved in the creation of the movie. It's public domain that he wasn't happy with how the franchise has been handled, so I wanted him to be part of the process. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to meet with me during prep. During post, I asked if I could meet with him and show him our first cut, but that didn't happen either. I haven't talked to him at all, and I don't know if he's seen the movie.
Yeah.
But his tweets made people hate the movie even more. I got a lot of respect for his work, and I heard he really liked El Ciclo. I'm guessing it's one of his movies, like Victor Garcia. So I want to think there's mutual respect from both sides. Wishful thinking there. Unfortunately, people seem to have problems understanding where those comments are coming from and what's the real reason behind them. Yeah, I guess the real reason behind them is that nobody bothers to ask Clive Barker any feedback about a movie that, he helped, a franchise that he helped create. Really,
So,
I mean...
So he's sawing on his forehead in this scene, but then when we see him later on, he's got like his lips cut off and stuff.
Yeah, it's like they had to cut out some stuff. Like, did they have to MPA make them cut out gore or something?
I don't know. Well, because it's really, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's really a direct-to-video movie. So
yeah,
like
but direct-to-video movies still have to go to the MPA, don't they?
Well, does it even need a rating? They could just say it's unrated, right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know the rules on that one.
I mean, ratings
direct-to-video
are important for the movie theater, but I don't think that they care that much in the videos.
I have to do some research. I'm interested in that now. Not just
because,
about this movie.
When they make an unrated director's cut, they make it sound like, oh, it's this big taboo unrated.
Oh yeah,
it's really just
that's right.
They didn't bother getting it rated because who cares?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was rated. But missed a good line there. Someone yelled out, "Someone tell me what's going on."
Yeah.
That's the voice of the audience.
Yeah.
And this woman's like, I'd like to thank the Academy. Oh my ears. It's just so...
Oh, wow. Someone give him CPR or something something.
Yeah, so he was sawing on his forehead outside, but inside his face is cut off.
Yeah. It's like it's all butchered up.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the same design of the makeup for the pseudo Pinhead.
It does. It really does. I was going to say that before, but I wasn't
think
sure.
that was on purpose.
Like at the end of the day, as an afterthought, someone took out the makeup from the guy's face and was like, "Hey, let's shoot one more scene and let's put this on this guy's face here."
You're right. It's like an additional shot.
Yeah.
They just seem to go from like full on 11, and then they dial it back down to like 1, and all become very depressed and sad. And it's like, why don't you guys do something? Try to get out of there. Go outside and look for your cars. Well, they did that.
This is when the performance gets even worse. It just goes downhill. He starts acting all insane.
Yeah, I know. I hate the way he talks. He's like, "Mother dearest."
We now bring you the purge.
It just doesn't help he's in his pajamas either. He just doesn't look very, dominant.
It looks like something that would be on the Purge movies.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Purge?
Generica is like, I don't know, it's so ham-fisted. Like,
yeah, it's hammy.
Yeah, I mean, people don't talk like that.
No.
I mean, he could have just said that, this wasn't for me, and just let the audience kind of work it out from his character or whatever. It's, he has to spell everything out.
Oh, that's why Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 6% audience score.
6% out of 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people actually saw it?
Who knows? I mean, in theaters or in like DVDs?
Just on that site, Rotten Tomatoes, how many reviews has it gathered?
Oh yeah.
To get that percent?
Reviews. Let me get back to you on that.
All right.
All critics 3.
There's only 3 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
One from FearNet says worthless contractually mandated greed on film. Cinema Craze said a quick insta sequel intent on keeping the series fresh for the potential long talked about remake. Yeah, I wonder when that one's coming. And then Josh Bell from filmcritic.com says Revelations radiates indifference, practically announcing its status as a studio write-off. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the next Hellraiser Judgment's going to be the same. Yeah. Because I honestly don't. After watching this, I started wondering, like, okay, this was written by Gary Tunnicliffe, and we're talking about a similar production, so I don't.
And the next one will be called Hellraiser 2021 in Hellraiser November 2021.
It's actually sad. It actually really makes me sad where the series has gone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, why is it so important to keep the franchise going when this is what you're going to do with it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess theoretically, if they only spent $300,000 on this movie, it probably made a lot of money relative to the budget.
Sure. Probably.
Luckily, we know that everything ends in Space Station Minos in 2127.
Yeah, that's where the franchise ends for me.
Yeah.
Man, so.
I know, yeah.
The thing is, what you were talking about, Ryan, is that I think that you brought up an interesting point, that the Weinsteins don't understand that keeping the series alive on, as if it was like a coma patient or something.
Yeah.
It's not really doing it any favors.
Yeah.
Even if they want to make like a remake with a lot of money, I mean, at this point, these sequels are turning Hellraiser. It's costing its reputation, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it turns it into a joke.
Yeah. Even maybe to general audiences too. I mean, the fans had already definitely.
Yeah.
This is, I guess, the only scene that is quite effective. I actually told that to Victor Garcia. He was answering questions on the Hellbound web at one time.
Oh.
And I told him, I was like, this was actually an effective scene.
She has a baby, Niko. Kill her. Do it yourself. I'm not doing this for you anymore, Niko.
Yeah, just say his name one more time. Is that Niko?
Yeah, that's Niko.
Niko's
I'm
makeup
just
in this
kidding.
is really good.
He said his name like twice.
Yeah, I know.
So this is what they've been doing in Mexico.
Yeah.
also the upcoming twist in this movie. I mean, we could see that coming ever since that soup scene.
Yeah.
I think, they were trying to do a throwback to like Hellraiser 2, where we see Julia has to kill people. In Hellraiser 2, they decided to just show that one woman during that thunderstorm that Julia drains. So they didn't show all of the other, all of them. So I think that was a good choice because.
Well, in this movie, he looks exactly the same from the first blood that he gets on him until now.
Oh yeah, even when he was, the mattress, he still looks the same.
There's no progression.
Yeah, there's no skin. He should have skin, forming.
Yeah.
Because that was always something in the first Hellraiser I was cool. I was actually wanting to see Frank, feed more people to actually show even more skin on him, how far he could get with it. Until he killed, Larry.
Yeah. And of course, this part, Niko was like begging him to do it, and it's like, obviously, if he says no, he's just going to take Steve's skin.
Yeah.
He should have threatened him.
I think that now is a good time to turn your back on him. I think you should do that.
It's like he doesn't think he would, turn on him.
Yeah.
He's like, I've given you the shirt off my back. No, you didn't. You're wearing it.
I know.
Yeah. And that line, it's just
that line was.
It was just I knew it was something.
It was just a setup
this scene.
Even the Switchblade's a nod to Frank.
Yeah.
Yes. Enough of this cat and mouse shit.
Yeah, and Andrew Robinson does an awesome job being Frank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I saw.
And in here, you really can't tell much of a difference between Steven and Niko.
Last week, I saw the Clint Eastwood movie, Dirty Harry. And Andrew Robinson is great in that movie.
He's the killer,
long
isn't he?
Since I saw it.
Yeah, he's Scorpio. Boyish good looks. Even the scene in the mirror where he's adjusting the skin under his eye is a nod to the first Hellraiser.
Yeah.
I wonder. I would be curious to read the script that by Gary Tunnicliffe for this because I'd like to see. I wonder if these were written as adults. I mean, I wonder if did he always have them as kids or they're very young characters.
I tried looking for the script, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I have to. Because he always complains about in his movies that he doesn't like to, or in interviews that in movies he doesn't like teenagers and stuff like that. That I was reading about, and I don't know.
Yeah. And then there's this thing now. Now she was doing Steve's dad, and
yeah.
I mean that just comes out of nowhere. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, and the wife just goes from crying about one thing to crying about something else, and you can't really tell,
That's pretty much her performance the entire movie. I mean, the first time you see her, she's crying.
Yeah.
Oh, Widow Emma. Don't worry. There's a career in your future. You're going to do more movies after this.
Yeah. The guy that actually is playing Steven in Niko, he actually's gone on to do other things too. I think he didn't really care about this movie. When you shoot a movie in 12 days, you can't get into character really that allows you to do something worthwhile. Because actors like to, he just probably just was like, I'm just going to hand this up and just,
Yeah, and
none of these people had a chance to get into their characters. I mean, there's no.
Also, the way the ending they wrote for this movie is just terrible. I mean, what an awful plan. Can you imagine if Frank said, I think I'm going to open the box and just talk to the Cenobites and see if I can give them some other people instead of me.
Yeah.
That's what Kirsty did in Hellseeker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right. Well, it wasn't that good of an idea in that movie either.
He's talking to that guy now, and the father, and he's like, it doesn't even look like he's hurt.
Yeah.
I know.
He just got shot point blank.
shotgun.
With a shotgun.
In the stomach.
That should kill you.
That should be like a hole the size of a plate on his back.
Yeah, he should be dead.
Yeah.
The way he says this word is really bad.
Yeah.
He really likes
congratulations.
poking
You want a
that
medal?
gun to his stomach too.
Yeah, it feels like this is just running on fumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be like,
You're exactly
okay,
right.
we're just adding more drama to the situation. It's like,
Yeah.
just skip all over this stuff and just, well, then the movie would be shorter than this.
I know. I
Yeah,
was
I
just
know.
thinking when I was watching all these deleted scenes that they might as well stuck them back in because, the running time was only 75 minutes.
How much?
And they were completed scenes. I mean, it's not like it's going to make it worse.
I was gonna say, how long did the deleted scenes? You said there were 10 deleted scenes. How long does it equal the footage amount to? Like 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
Nah, it's probably like it would add another 5 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Oh, they're really short then.
Well, and one of them was an alternate one. So like they talked to the vagrant on a stairwell in the club instead of at their booth.
Why are you going to ask questions to a guy that's holding a shotgun to your face?
Oh God, he's so terrible.
I know, man. It's just I can't even make fun of it. It's so bad.
Okay, so you guys saw after Niko took Steve's skin, he left the room, and then you see this bloody hand grab the box, and so it's meant to tell us, okay, like Steve was still alive after he took off his skin, and he solved the box and made a deal with the Cenobites, and he's the pseudo Pinhead. Oh, what a twist!
Yeah. If somebody has all of their skin removed, they are not going to live.
No.
Right, just like Larry.
That means all of their blood is gone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess something whack happened.
Yeah.
Whack, yeah, it's whack. That's what you got to call this episode or somehow. The title.
That's what we did when we did the episode about
That's
this
true.
movie. We called it like, "What if something whack happened?"
happens?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like they got some good elements of the original story, but it's just the way they used them was not the best. And
So he gets stabbed like 6 times here. Oh, maybe 3 or 4 times. But he kind of forgets that he got stabbed. It's like, yeah, that hurt at the time, but I'm cool now. I guess Frank was super. See, there's those same exact candles. They just appeared suddenly there on the coffee table.
yeah, and he's clutching his side where she stabbed him like 3 or 4 times, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that guy's dead. Oh wait, he's still bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Just
Still holding on here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do like the effect with the blue light inside the box.
Yeah, I think that's the only good thing of this movie.
They do the
And
little
actually, I think Steven's father is not a bad actor.
Yeah, I think I've seen him in other movies.
Yeah. Probably thinking right now, man, I just want to get out of this movie.
Somebody's opening the windows.
Somehow it doesn't.
Just sort of everything just appears. But
Yeah.
see them and the pillars in the same shot. Well, I guess now you kind of do there.
Also, they've just been transported to a different set because their house doesn't have walls like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's wall where there used to be window.
Yeah. But there is the couch. No, the couch is gone too.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
all
So they're all inside of the puzzle box right now.
Man, that puzzle box is a dump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, somehow it doesn't work that well when you try to make the Cenobites appear inside a modern-looking, fully, full of windows, house that's full of windows and open spaces. It doesn't work that well. It works better if it's a claustrophobic little room.
Yeah.
Like in how,
But it doesn't
maybe
work
just
that well
one
when the
window.
Cenobites look terrible either.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it just
Well, and why is there a light bulb hanging on one of those chains?
another nod to the original. And you made up a good point, Ryan. I was looking at your notes. The Pinhead's teeth are too perfect.
Yeah.
Or maybe you talked about
Yeah, they're all black in Hellraiser.
it. Yeah. They did get
Well,
the
and
pupils.
he's
At least
got
the
just
pupils are
regular
black.
eyes. Yeah.
Freshly.
I'm really
razored
upset with the
flesh.
Chatter design in this. I mean, I love the Chatter character, and it's just it looks so fake. That
She
it's
looks like a
man.
combination of one of the Wire twins and Chatterer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's
Yeah.
a lame effect, though. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't happen like that.
And Pinhead just said something about her freshly razored flesh. And I'm like, what, they're going to shave her or what?
Yeah. He's going to put that one little piece of her cheek onto his head.
Oh, yeah, there's a hole there. It's missing. Yeah, it's like...
I never understood where Pinhead got that first piece of skin from. That put on when he put on this character.
His pantry.
Yeah.
I know, because he was inside the box, so there were no
Yeah.
holes.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this room is connected to the rest of hell or something.
And the agony that he's feeling just by having hooks in his two hands, it seems out of proportion to this other stuff he's already been through.
Yeah, like being stabbed through.
Yeah, I know.
No. It's just like he's pouting about it.
Yeah.
Other than...
And he's got
God,
that
he
black...
just look horrible there. Pinhead just looked terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. The onslaught of agony. It's like, dude, no.
Yeah.
No, that's terrible. That's what you get when,
I just don't think even Doug Bradley could even sell this, even if he was in it.
I think he made the right choice.
Oh, yeah. And probably in both cases.
Yeah, people bag on this movie because it doesn't have Doug Bradley. I mean, it's like, I think that was a good move
Yeah.
for him. I mean,
the
it
dad
would
is still
still-
alive. He's grabbing the shotgun.
the other Cenobites would still look the same. They would
All of the
still be-
shotgun come... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And this is the worst part for that character.
I know.
That's great.
Nobody gets to kill you but me. It's like, what? He really screwed up there.
I know. It's like he says thank you.
I know.
Everybody should. I mean, I think if I were in this situation, if I were there, I would just sit down and shut up and not try to get noticed.
Yeah.
And just let Niko get
Yeah.
ripped to shreds.
Yeah, I mean, they actually, by shooting him, made Pinhead mad. We're like,
Not only made Pinhead mad, but he actually ended Niko's suffering.
yeah, I know. That he, deserved.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, this guy's a horrible Pinhead. Horrible.
No, please take me. What you have remaining will be spent in the agony.
Well, in hell nobody dies, right?
Hmm?
In hell nobody dies. I mean, they get torn by the Cenobites over and over, and they still survive.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah, you're dying. I'm not going to take you. I'm going to take your daughter or your wife.
Yeah. I don't know.
Chains for everyone. You get chained. You
Yeah,
get
right.
chained. You get chained.
Yeah.
And she seems a little unfazed by it.
He's just like, what's going on here?
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So what's my
Yeah,
motivation in this
like
scene?
Steven
Yeah.
screaming like he was being disemboweled when he got the hooks in his hand.
Chaining that happened in that movie that takes place with Carrie Wurr.
Yeah.
Deader.
Better.
Deader. I like the chaining in that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, the one with Winter?
Was
Yes.
that the one where they
Yeah.
exploded out of the walls?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool, a cool effect.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're back on the couch. So he wasn't able to lean against the couch while they were in hell because the couch was gone. But now the couch is back. He can lean up against it.
He dies comfortably.
Yeah.
Well, Pinhead did say debt is outstanding. Maybe he's just decided to take their furniture.
He's gonna
I'll take those couches and maybe that lamp too.
and those cheap candles that we got in a bag for 99 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's the Hellraiser pawn shop.
I don't get this.
Yeah, looking at the camera. All right, we made it.
Made through all this.
Okay, just so I understand if
Hell
I
on
got
Earth
the
is
ending
over.
right. Yeah, that's a good one. Just to make sure I understand the ending, so Niko died. Steven was pseudo Pinhead. That mom got her throat slashed. She was taken.
She was
other
dead,
mom-
yes. I think they killed her.
Yeah, she got her throat opened and she died. And then the other mom got chained as well, and she decided to be taken in the place of Niko.
Yeah.
And then he returns the dad and Emma. So it's like, all right, you guys are cool. I don't need to get you guys.
Yeah.
Because you're about to die, and she's innocent. She didn't open the box. And then the first thing she does when she gets back is open the box again. Or
Yeah.
Or it looks like she wants it.
ah. It's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, but you'd think at least maybe after a few years she might have done that or something. No, how about right now?
Yeah. Anyway.
No, at least we're done.
We're done with Hell on Earth. It was painful.
Yeah.
What was the most painful movies to watch? I think mine were the very first one. I can't even remember its time. Transmutations.
Transmutations.
Yeah, that was the first one was bad, and The Plague, and this. I have to say those were probably the worst.
I think this is the worst, and then The Plague.
I think for me it's Candyman 3 and then
Oh, yeah.
The Plague and this. Yeah.
Candyman 3 was bad. You're right.
Candyman 3, we could make fun of a little easier than... It's
Sure.
hard to make fun of this one because you just feel dirty.
Yeah, it's just
And again,
like,
for all you
I
people,
said, it's depressing.
Yeah.
for all you people out there who are putting some hopes up for Hellraiser Revelations or Judgment, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. Watch this movie, and maybe this movie is a good
Gary talks
example
a
of what can happen.
Gary's talking a big game, like
Yeah.
how it can be a thought-provoking movie. So
Well, and now he's writing and directing, right? So it's all on him. He can't, he couldn't. I mean, not that he did that, but he couldn't just say, "Well, I didn't direct that movie."
Yeah.
Sure.
But
he did write this one, and
He wrote
the
the
story
yeah.
was a little wanting in some areas. But okay, well, let's see what the new Hellraiser is going to be like. It's going to come out in 2017, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
They'll probably do their screening, just in time to keep their rights. They'll do like the screening in one movie theater somewhere.
Sure.
I would assume they've still. I know they were in post-production editing, and that was months ago.
Yeah, this
Soon.
movie came out in November of 2011 because our very first episode of the podcast was January 2012, and we did a review of 2011, and so we had to talk about this movie. Then we did a full episode about this movie.
And that's true. I just checked IMDb, and it does say that Hellraiser Judgment is supposed to come out in video in 2017.
Huh. Yeah, and I can't remember when because we saw this movie before we did our first episode, so that means that the video release came out really soon after they screened it.
Wow, Gene Warren III did the visual effects. Gene Warren's his father was big into visual effects. Like he worked on Lord of Illusions.
Oh, really?
Doing that. Remember that last scene where Swan's face comes apart?
Oh, yeah.
That was Gene Warren's team that did that.
Oh, cool. Okay. So that's it for this one. And join us next on Hellraiser. Is that going to be the next one?
Yeah.
No, we got Quicksilver Highway, I think, and then the Yattering and Jack.
Yeah.
It's one of those two.
So I also thought it was strange on here that the director of photography was David A. Armstrong, so I followed it. I clicked through on IMDb, and it's not the same David Armstrong.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
He's just a photographer, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he just does.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
Quicksilver Highway next with Christopher Lloyd and
Cameo by Clive Barker.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, and then the Yattering and Jack.
And
Goodbye, Dimension Films logo. I'm glad I'll never see that again.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for sharing this moment with us, and I hope we were funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
So let us know what you thought about our commentary track in the comments.
Definitely.
The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This podcast and site are a labor of love by the fans for the fans. News, features, and show notes for this episode can be found at www.clivebarkercast.com. Go to iTunes and please leave us a review. Reviews really help us get the word out about Clive Barker. You can also find us on Podomatic, Xbox Music Store, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Double Twist, BlackBerry, and Pocket Cast. We have a Facebook page, so come on and like our Facebook page and join the Occupy Media group for lots of discussion about Nightbreed and other Clive Barker stuff. On Twitter, we're at BarkerCast and at Occupy Midian. Opening theme by Mark Buckle.